what is your take with the whole bad press WWE's got with the whole firings, but making a massive profit of their Money in the Bank branding of climbing the corporate ladder?
Right. Yeah.
So
So
they've just laid off 40% of their workers, and now they're telling the rest of their workers that they need to climb the corporate ladder.
I haven't even thought about it like that.
I'm not going to take the joke as my own. Like someone else said it, but they were saying that instead of the briefcases, it should be a brass ring.
Oh, you got to grab the brass ring, brother.
Exactly. Yeah. Climb the corporate ladder, grab the brass ring.
Yeah.
At Titan Towers of all places as well.
I think that's a very American dream thing. Again, like I don't really understand how people are like shitting on Vince like they believed before this that he was a decent human being. They've got a fucking contract with Saudi Arabia. In Vince's head, releasing a couple of jobbers that he doesn't know the name of during a pandemic is just like a day of business, right? Not that I think they're jobbers, by the way. That's from Vince McMahon's point of view. I think
he knew what he was doing.
a lot of these guys had a lot of talent.
I just think the branding's awful. All the timing is awful. One of them, they announced the corporate ladder thing 2 days after all these firings became public, and it wasn't even WWE was hiding it. They released it as a press conference themselves about the firings. So I don't know. It seems all silly to me.
It's just shamefacedness. I mean, they fired, as you're saying, apparently 40% of their staff the day after XFL went into bankruptcy.
Yeah, and everyone lost their job there.
So, like, they don't try and hide anything. They don't try and push anything under the carpet. Within the space of 3 days, Vince McMahon filed bankruptcy for XFL, fired a hell of a lot of his staff, and became a chief economic advisor for Donald Trump.
It's
the writing's on the wall, and I don't think he does or ever will care about what people think of it.
But I just think the public image is going to be so poor once we're outside of this thing. Once they're back to running normal, I think their house show numbers are going to be even lower than what they were before, and their viewership.
I struggle to believe that. They seem to just go from controversy to controversy, and the same dudes over and over again on Twitter saying, "That's it, I'm cancelling my network subscription," and then a month later they're back on.
But 2 years ago, they could get away with it. Now they have some very strong competitors.
That's true. I think numbers are slowly declining. I don't think that AEW is enough of a challenge yet.
Not by themselves, but
for people to
New Japan are running house shows in America. Impact is slowly making their way back below the border again. I think they're gonna have a lot of tough competition coming outside of this thing.
Don't get me wrong. I agree with you. I think that this isn't the year that's gonna hurt.
No.
People will slowly wake up. Casual wrestling fans and families will slowly wake up to the idea that there is another channel where wrestling is on, and I think that's going to take a couple of years. And I don't think Cody should run before he can walk either. And I think Vince McMahon is safe in the knowledge that he can do anything he wants, and people will still come back. And I think that's going to be true for maybe 1 or 2 more years.
Yeah, I mean WWE's not going anywhere. Like we said earlier, they're going to make the biggest profit this year they've ever made.
But WWE making the biggest profit they've ever made, how much of that calculates into actual people watching and enjoying the show?
Well, that's the thing, because they're always reporting that their numbers are down, that the subscription's losing, USA viewership is losing.
Where's this money coming from?
Saudi. Blood money.
Well, how long is that? Apparently, he just released 2 guys that he picked up from a tryout in Saudi Arabia. They're going back home.
Weren't exactly doing anything with them anyway.
No, not at all.
They were on 2 shows a year.
I mean, I'm sure the Saudi fans aren't dumb. They're eventually going to see that Mansoor gets carted out for them, treated like a king, and then thrown off.
Yeah, they know that anyway.
But
so
they're going to get sick of it eventually.
So at the risk of sounding like a hypocrite, take the branding aside, what is your creative feelings towards the Money in the Bank ladder match?
See, I would have really looked forward to it up until I saw that Edge Randy Orton match at WrestleMania. The whole idea, the concept sounds it could be really, really fun.
I think it could be fun if it's done right.
But then I don't think you caught the match, did you? But Edge Randy Orton walked around the Performance Center for 40 minutes.
I saw the second half of it.
Doing nothing. They did nothing. They hit each other and went into a different room. And I really, really hope that it's not that for 4 floors.
There's reports that it's going to be a lot like AJ Undertaker. It's going to be pre-filmed and it's going to look like a movie.
I saw they've actually put a wrestling ring on top of the building.
And there's like a crane holding
Yeah.
the briefcase.
That's pretty cool. It depends. It really depends on how imaginative they can get to the top. Like if Vince McMahon, if somebody puts like a
Someone has to
collection
go
of
through a wall, right?
right, yeah, they must do. And like if somebody puts a collection of DVDs like Die Hard and The Raid in Vince McMahon's hands and says, "Hey, watch some of this stuff,"
Just
it could be
yeah,
fantastic. It
let's
could be
just go there.
amazing.
I'm just looking at who's in the match now, and I'm thinking this isn't the right people to be having like a Falls Count Anywhere crazy brawl.
No,
These aren't the right people. I just realized
can
like
you just list the names for me again?
Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Murphy, Aleister Black, Austin Theory, Apollo Crews, MVP, Drew Gulak, or King Corbin.
Right.
I've just realized none of them are going for a wall.
I think you can do some fun stuff with King Corbin.
I mean, Big Show was on a Raw a couple of weeks ago. Why isn't Big Show
That
in
was
this
so
match?
weird, man. That was so strange. I know we keep going in circles here and talking about different things, but did you actually watch that footage?
Yeah, it was.
Like, it was just the most surreal thing. Like, it was set post WrestleMania.
And I
I
don't
assume
understand why that even had to happen. Why couldn't
I
it just be
assume
on Raw?
because Drew McIntyre couldn't get to the Raw taping the next night.
But why didn't they just tape it anyway and then just say it was on Raw?
Yeah,
Because
just
that
change
following
the.
Raw wasn't live, so it didn't matter.
I think they tried to make it feel like a special thing, but it just came off as really awkward and strange. Like that's never happened in history before. But why is Big Show at WrestleMania apart from to advertise the Big Show? Did he bring his wrestling gear? Why did he think that
Why
challenging
does he deserve a championship match?
Why did he think that challenging Drew McIntyre after WrestleMania is finished would even get televised or anybody would care? Like, just both from a storyline perspective and a reality perspective, it makes no sense. If you want to go kayfabe or shoot, it doesn't make any sense either way.
It doesn't make any sense at all. You're right. And Drew McIntyre looked like a pansy because he kept saying, "I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you." And then Big Show slapped him and he's like, "Okay, I'm going to fight you."
Right, that's
Like-
the thing. That was the thing that made me laugh so much because this whole angle was built around making Drew McIntyre look hard.
But he didn't.
No, he looked like an idiot.
Yeah, he did. It didn't help him at all.
Also, why is post WrestleMania Drew McIntyre going back for 20 minutes to celebrate his ring, then coming back out
That's the
into an
thing,
empty arena to have an interview?
The whole thing was hokey. It made no sense. I mean, if you're gonna interview your champion, why wouldn't you have interviewed him backstage? Why?
Don't understand any of
And
it.
that would have been a clever booking if you had filmed it and then showed it at the beginning of Raw. He has an interview backstage 20 minutes later. He's like, I haven't even phoned my family yet. I'm so excited. And then Big Show walks in fully clothed in a suit, whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna be on Raw tomorrow night to advertise my show, whatever, and I demand a match. And then Drew McIntyre's like, I'm not gonna fight you. And then Big Show choke slams him backstage on the concrete or through a table.
Right? I mean,
it's
so simple,
And then
bro.
the main event of Raw is those two against each other, and Drew McIntyre looks like a beast.
Yeah. Big Show's coming back anyway to promote his show. That's why he's there. They didn't
And it was-
even
And it was
roll
all
with that.
taped. It could have been done all on the same day if they wanted to. It makes no sense.
Anyway, we were talking about Money in the Bank.
Why isn't Big Show in this? And why isn't Ricochet in this? Why isn't Austin Theory? I guess could do some stuff in it. Apollo Crews, he could flip off something. Like we were saying, they have to do something exciting. They have to go for a wall, or they have to like slide across a big boardroom desk or something.
Well, I can't take credit for these ideas because I saw them online. But like some guy said, they should get Baron Corbin being a smart heel and trying to take the lift, and they can have him like try and fix the lift for the whole show, and then he finally gets up there and it's already finished. Or they could have like
That's quite fun.
Ricochet come in and press all the buttons, and then he's just going up and down.
He's going up every lift, and then he keeps seeing people brawl on every floor.
Yeah. And then somebody else said the boogeyman in a cupboard just locked up in storage, or they could do so much fun stuff with it.
Yeah, I heard one idea that they're going to brawl all the way to the roof, and then Brock Lesnar's going to be there on a helicopter and just like parachute onto the roof.
They could make this amazing, but sadly I don't think that they will.
Well, I've heard that they are planning on filling it with tons of Easter eggs, like tons of like little bits of memorabilia just littered around.
That would be really cool.
But again, they need to do they need to do some Attitude Era style backstage brawling, like going through doors and slide.
Forklifts.
Yeah, they need to do
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Otherwise, it's just going to be a load of people in some tight corridors throwing punches at each other.
And that really is the difference between the Edge and Orton match and that Boneyard match, right? I just hope that the producer of the Boneyard match, which I heard was Jeremy Borash, does the Money in the Bank stuff.
Yeah, if it's filmed like that, then definitely he should be involved in it. Now, do you think it's going to be a brawl throughout most of the building, and then 2 minutes in the ring getting the briefcase, or do you reckon they're going to be around the building for 5 minutes and then they're going to have a match on the roof?
I reckon that they're going to do. So they've got two, right?
Yeah.
So I think that maybe the men's will be mostly brawling up the corridors and then 2 minutes in the ring, and then they might take an opposite approach with the women's and just like straight stack it up to the ring and then have like a 15-20 minute match.
Run up there and then have a proper match just on the roof.
Because they've got two matches, so they've got time to do both.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to have it different ways.
Unless they have the men's and the women's at the same time, that'd be madness.
That'd be really interesting. That'd be really fun. What They should do that. And then just have two different coloured briefcases at the top. Well, I mean,
yeah. You could have like Charlotte beat the shit out of Baron Corbin just because, you know.
That would be fantastic. They won't do that, but that would be fantastic. Dana Brooke and Apollo Crews teaming up, just taking everyone out. Oscar versus Rey Mysterio. That'd be fantastic.